Please take a seat. And for those folks from back east, where is the VP? And your wife too? Sure. Yes. And past state deputies and you're incorrigible, as is your prerogative.
No, I haven't.
Good.
I know there's a lot of us still having breakfast, so may we ask those that are outside to please come inside? Can we ask our brother knights and lovely ladies outside to come for the open session? Good morning, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Let me hear it out. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. My brothers, we are about to open this 120th annual meeting of the California State Council. This morning's session will be an open session to allow all our families and guests the opportunity to listen to the message from our Supreme Knight, Patrick Kelly, and the Supreme Representative, Mark McMullen, our Senior Vice President for Membership Growth and Marketing. When it is time for the formal business session to begin, only qualified members of the third degree will be allowed to remain in the chamber. At this point, I'd like to introduce our dignitaries. First of all, let us welcome our State Chaplain, Reverend Father Anthony Vaz Happily. Our State Chaplain Emeritus are all the way down there doing the convocation. So I would like also to welcome our Supreme Representative, Brother Mark McMullen, Senior Vice President, Membership Growth and Marketing, and the lovely Lady Jan. was wondering if our Spring Hispanic coordinators are around. Where is he? Breakfast, okay, right? Then we will have our State Secretary, Brother Rene Trevino, and lovely Lady Carla. We have our State Treasurer, Brother Greg Marat, and her daughter, Gabriela Marat. We have our State Advocate, Brother James Larson, and lovely Lady Anna. I was looking for lovely Lady Anna. We have our State Warden, Brother Kenneth Rose. They're waiting over there. And we have our immediate past State Deputy, Brother Stephen Bolton, and lovely Lady Jane. And we have our past State Deputy, Dave Abbott, and lovely Lady Debbie. This man, the audiovisual out there, thank you, Brother Dave. And we have our 2017-2018 past State Deputy, Brother Romy Quevedo, and lovely Lady Russell. In 2016-2017, we have our past State Deputy, Sonny Santa Ines, and lovely Lady Irma. And we have, for the Golden Year 2015-2016, we have past State Deputy Ed Hustis and lovely Lady Flora, who are also our State Convention Chairman. There we go. Oh, you saw Brother Ed, right? Okay, good. We have our 2013-2014 past State Deputy Tim Carvalho and lovely Lady. And then we have in our meetings, I'm looking for past State Deputy Ray. Yeah, Raymond Warner's not here, right? He was here. Okay, anyway. We have our past for 20. Yeah, we have our past State Deputy, Brother Joseph Salais and lovely Lady Anna. Then we have our past State Deputy, Brother Robert. I got good pronunciation. Okay, Brother William Shibella and a lovely lady. Okay, country store. Okay, we have our from 1998-1999. We have our past State Deputy Ross Willauer. There we go. Thank you very much. Am I missing someone? Oh, we have our distinguished guest. Our distinguished guest, we have Christopher Lewis, President, American Wheelchair Mission. We have our General Sales Manager, Stephen Owens. And I know also we have our General Sales Manager, Carlos Gutierrez, who I think is still with the kids right now. Oh, with the priest right now. Thank you. Okay. And for the fourth degree, we have our Northern District Master, Tim Carvalho. Oh, Tim Carvalho. Tim Fukuda. Wow, it's so hard. I want to see these two guitars. And we have our Master for Central District. And we have our Master for Southern District, Brother Raymond Forget. And lovely. Thank you. We are our State Membership Director. Oh, country store. Okay. We have our State Programs Director, Brother Jim Hart, and lovely. And of course, we have our State Operations Director, Brother Jimmy Hayes, Sr. There's lovely Lady Daniel. They're working. Okay. So, am I missing someone else? No. My apologies for those that I missed. But anyway, My brothers, pursuant to our bylaws, these proceedings may be recorded. Again, this year, Brother Peter Toriano, a member of Bishop Odal Council 3474 and Portola Assembly 49, will be the court reporter for these proceedings. Let's give our brother a hand. And now, I would like to show our Supreme Knight, Patrick E. Kelly's message. This whole thing. Oh, sorry. Sorry, before that. I've got so many things happening. I would ask our state chaplain to leave us with. Yeah. I would ask our worthy state secretary to please.
I now call to order the California State Council 120th State Annual Meeting to order. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please welcome our State Chaplain, Reverend Father Anthony Bess-Hackley.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord Jesus, you have given us the assurance that where 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, you are there. Lord Jesus, we have gathered in your name, and we have only one objective, one goal, which is to spread and establish your kingdom, so that all of us, knights, their families, will continue to be evangelizers of your word, and that they will, with a life example, will preach the gospel. And therefore, Heavenly Father, as we begin this convention, we invoke your blessings upon all of us, especially upon all the organizers, all the leaders, the state leadership, and everyone who has worked so hard to make this a reality. We also invoke the blessings of Mary, our mother, because where there is Jesus, there is his mother, and where there is his mother, the Son is also present. Heavenly Mother Mary, therefore, we invoke your maternal blessings upon all of us, that we will focus our attention on to your Son, Jesus, and make his mission our mission, making it even strong and spreading it far and wide. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. I'd like to say now the Invocation prayer. Mary, our mother, your response will be save our families. Mary, our mother, save our families. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Just one more word I mentioned after the Mass, just a reminder. We have the sacrament going on, and please, all of you, find little time to spend in front of the sacrament. Thank you.
Please welcome from the Northern District, Master Tim Fukuda.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please face the flag of our nation. Salute appropriately and say with me, I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Please welcome Past State Deputy Edward Hustis for a convention welcome message.
So on behalf of the extensive planning committee for this state annual meeting / state convention, we want to welcome you to the 120th annual state meeting convention. We've had some challenges. We weren't sure if we were actually going to be able to have it here because of the extensive renovation that's going on, but we knew that this was going to be the last time that we would be here for quite some time because of what's planned down the road, and I will share that with you later on in the day. So there being flexible with us. We're being flexible with them. First of all, we have even some members of our Worthy State Deputies family on the committee. How was that event last night? Well, Sister Diane took care of that for us, heading all that up. There was a lot of work to go into that, not knowing how many chapters were actually going to come to the plate to have that competition. Sounded like it was great, and the Cardinals band playing too as well. Great music. So that was just the first phase. We did find Elvis. Elvis will be playing tonight here. Hopefully you got a ticket. It was selling out very well. Not selling out, but we had some high numbers, and they keep coming in. I don't know if we have the latest count from G. 150, 160 tonight. So come and see Elvis if you have that ticket already, or if you're interested and you didn't know about it, you can still get a ticket. Right? Online, yeah, okay. And then, of course, we'll have all of our business throughout the day. Today, this afternoon, a bunch of officers voting on the budget, the resolutions. But we do have the honor card competition tonight in the same place where the event was last night. So look for that in that 5:30 to 7 time frame, and then followed by Elvis. Everything will culminate tomorrow night with the banquet. We are about right around 400, so that's twice as much as last year. Again, in 2020, we were completely virtual. We had a very small presence in 21, mostly virtual, but about 200 for dinner, 400 now, so we've doubled it, and we would expect that to go up next year too. I'll share that with you later, again of the day. So, welcome. We hope you're going to enjoy your stay here. They tried to put up some signs to get you between here and the lobby and so forth, those rooms over there. And they're supposed to be adding some lunch, at least tomorrow, if not today. They were working on trying to have that at RJ's by the lobby there. So anyway, welcome. We hope you have a great time.
Please welcome our worthy state warden, Sir Knight Ken Rose.
Brothers, lovely ladies, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you at this business meeting our worthy state deputy, Noel Panelio.
Thank you. You know that it's we're so glad to be opening up. I would like right now to show our Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly and his message for all of us.
My brother knights, it's an honor to speak with you. My address is virtual, but for the first time in 3 years, the order is not. All but 2 state conventions are back in person. The Knights of Columbus is back where we belong. Reaching this day was not easy, and before anything else, I want to thank all of you who helped lead the order through the pandemic's many challenges. And to all the wives who are with us, thank you for being a constant source of support and strength. We truly wouldn't be here without you. We confronted this crisis with strength and resolve, as we have every challenge in our history. From food banks to blood drives, from supporting our parishes to helping neighbors in need, through countless acts of quiet courage, the Knights of Columbus stepped up. It has long been said, where there's a need, there's a knight. And you proved it once again. You did so by quickly implementing new initiatives, as well as strengthening our long-standing programs. The mutual aid we provide through our life insurance is a case in point. We now have more than $119 billion of life insurance in force. Every policy we sell protects a family. It also supports everything else we do for the least fortunate and most vulnerable. Whether it's coats for kids, food for families, or the global wheelchair mission, we are serving even more people than we were before the pandemic. And in January, we reached a historic milestone in one of our signature programs, the Ultrasound Initiative. We have now placed over 1,500 ultrasound machines in pregnancy resource centers. Each one is changing minds and winning hearts for life. And each one is saving lives. We can all be proud of that legacy, even as we continue to build on it. It's remarkable to think how far we've come and how much we've accomplished. Yet we must also remember how much more we have to do. The times are getting more challenging, not less. Perhaps this is most evident in the war in Ukraine. All of us are deeply disturbed by Russia's invasion. The atrocities and the indiscriminate killing of mothers and children is especially horrific. It is the opposite of the culture of life we have committed ourselves to building. So as Knights of Columbus, we will stand with the Ukrainian people, and we will support the vulnerable wherever they are. This is also personal for us. The first Ukrainian Knights joined the order just 10 years ago. So we are supporting our brothers and their families. We stand with them as they defend their country and serve refugees. Immediately after the war began, I announced the Ukraine Solidarity Fund, and I called on all Knights of Columbus to support it. The fund has now exceeded $10 million and counting. Every dollar makes a difference for Ukrainian widows, orphans, and refugees. Every dollar lifts up our brother Knights in Ukraine and shines a light in a moment of great darkness. We have also established a strong relief presence on the border of Ukraine and Poland. Polish and Ukrainian Knights have worked together to get truckloads of supplies into Kyiv and around the country. Through our unity and fraternity, we delivered charity directly into Ukraine when others could not. We have set up mercy centers modeled on the KofC huts in World War I. Just over 100 years ago, those huts welcomed Allied soldiers with the words, "Everybody welcome, everything free." Today, those same words greet Ukrainian families in their own language, both on the border and in cities like Warsaw, Krakow, and Radom. Polish Knights deserve special praise for their tireless efforts. They have done the lion's share of the hard work on the ground, distributing aid and welcoming desperate refugees into their homes. Across the order, our efforts are making history. We have responded with speed and strength, and so much of the credit goes to you and your families. Thank you for standing in solidarity with Ukraine. There is more work to do in the days ahead. We will continue to deliver for our Ukrainian brothers and their families and their countrymen. They did not ask for this war, but they are asking for our help. We will be there for them today and tomorrow. And every day we will pray for them, and we will pray for an end to this unjust war. Ukraine is counting on us, and so are many others. Our countries, our communities, our church. They need us to be knights for this moment. and we are ready. If our history proves anything, it's that we do not fight the battles of yesterday. We fight the battles of today for the sake of tomorrow. And while we draw on our past, we are focused on the present to ensure our future. So what does that look like in 2022? What does it mean to be a knight in the current moment? It means to stand for the truth and to stand for life wherever it is threatened. We face many challenges, and they all have a spiritual dimension. We read about it in the Gospels and in the lives of the saints. We hear in St. Paul's letter to the church at Ephesus, we are not contending against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the world rulers of this present darkness, against the spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. There is a very real struggle going on in the world. It emanates from ideas and ideologies, some of which result in physical wars, but others that strike at the very heart of society, the family, and human nature. It's not just that some things have changed, like smartphones and constant communication. The very foundations of our culture are shifting. Pope Francis has put it best. Ours is not an era of change, but the change of an era. Yet while social foundations erode, the truth that must ground our lives remains rock solid. And so does the mission of the Knights of Columbus. Blessed Michael McGivney, in his faith and wisdom, prepared us for this moment. He and the founding members gathered around him chose our name, especially the title Knights, because they understood that we must be ready to defend the truth and the people we love. He didn't start a humanitarian group that sells insurance, nor did he start an insurance company that does humanitarian work. Father McGivney started something that does both of these things, yet so much more. He founded the Knights of Columbus, a band of brothers called to stand with Christ for our families and for those in need. We are Blessed Michael McGivney's spiritual heirs, and we must answer that call. There are 4 key areas where we must focus. Each one draws on our best traditions and builds upon them. Each answers an acute need of the moment. First and foremost, we must strengthen families, both spiritually and financially. The need is urgent. Catholic parents are struggling to pass on their beliefs. Catholic children are falling away from the faith in record numbers. For many, this reality hits close to home. Few things are harder to watch, and few things demand more of our attention. One of my top priorities is launching new programs to strengthen the family. Several are in the works, and I encourage you to make an extra effort to involve families in council life. And because we care about the spiritual health of families, we must also strive to meet their financial needs. We speak of the KofC difference. There is a deeper, transcendent meaning behind everything we do. While other companies care only about sales, we care about souls. That's why we're expanding our business into bold, new territory. From KofC Asset Advisors to mutual funds, we are now poised to become the go-to financial resource for Catholic families. Father McGivney worked hard to strengthen families, and he would be proud of our efforts. But he also knew that we must strengthen men. That is the second area of focus. The order has always aimed to help the Catholic man, and for good reason. it starts a chain reaction. When you get the man right, you get the marriage right, the family right, the parish right. What starts with each man can affect the whole culture. Yet the reverse holds true as well. When the man goes wrong, so does everything else. That's why we offer programs to help men stay strong. This includes the video series, such as Into the Breach and Everyday Heroes. We've also launched the new Viva Jesus prayer plan, which can help men build an intentional prayer life. And we're working on other new initiatives to deepen the faith of men. The third thing we must do is recommit ourselves to being the strong right arm of the church. Our priests and bishops need our help to keep the parish strong. Many parishes face a tough road to recovery, and the Knights of Columbus can be there to help them. Our priests and bishops need us to take up the church's mission of evangelization. To that end, we're beginning a new initiative on evangelization and discipleship. It's focused on training our brother knights to share their faith in their councils and parishes. If we don't evangelize the culture will evangelize us. So let's do our part to be the men God calls us to be and help others to do the same. Fourth, it is equally important that we expand our witness to charity. There are clear charitable needs that require our leadership. And one of our greatest priorities is protecting the unborn. In the coming months, the U.S. Supreme Court may overturn Roe v. Wade. If that happens, states will be free to roll back abortion on demand. And the Knights of Columbus will be ready. We'll put even more ultrasound machines in pregnancy resource centers. We'll offer even more support for pregnant and new mothers and their children. And we'll advocate with our elected leaders to end abortion and protect life. That should have happened a long time ago, and the Knights of Columbus will never rest until a culture of life is finally restored. The final focus is membership growth. In a spiritual struggle like the one we're in, manpower matters. With more men, we can strengthen more Catholic families. We can do more for priests and for the whole church. We can do more for charity, both near and far. My brother knights, is that not what we want? And do we not offer what young men need? They're looking to be part of something bigger than themselves. It doesn't get bigger than a global brotherhood of faithful Catholic men. They're looking for practical fellowship that helps them grow on a personal level. It doesn't get more practical or more personal than a band of brothers urging one another forward. Last August, I issued a challenge to every member of the order. I asked that before the next Supreme Convention, each night invite at least 2 men to join our ranks. Today, I reiterate that call. Think of what will happen if we do this. We will set the stage for a new era of growth in good men and good works. And we will be better prepared to fight and win this spiritual battle. I believe we will, because everything I've asked us to do is everything we've always done. For 140 years, we have strengthened families, men, and the Catholic Church. We have embraced a charity that evangelizes, and we have grown by leaps and bounds despite the many challenges we faced. These tasks are harder than they used to be, but that only makes our mission all the more necessary. In a spiritual war, you don't back down. You step up and you stand in the breach. And we are doing exactly that. I recently met with a Ukrainian family who experienced this firsthand. The wife, Ola, told me how she, her husband, who's a brother knight, and their 3 kids fled their home as the war began. And she told me how the Knights of Columbus were there every step of the way. Our Ukrainian brothers helped them get to Poland. Our Polish brothers helped them find their way to the United States. And now our American brothers are helping them build a new life in Pennsylvania. After she finished her story, Ola got quiet. And then she told me how much we mean to her. She said the Knights of Columbus are, and I quote, good men at work doing godly things. And then she said that we are what the world needs. My brother Knights, she is right. We are and we must be good men at work doing godly things. And that is what the world needs. As we strive to win the battles of this moment, let us place our hope and our trust in the Lord. And let us answer his call, for in him lies the victory. Thank you. Viva Jesus.
And now, it is my great privilege for me to introduce our Supreme Representative to this convention, Brother Mark McMullen, Senior Vice President, Membership Growth and Marketing.
Good morning. Good morning. Worthy State Deputy, Father Anthony, Reverend Fathers that are here. I don't think the bishop's here. I'd say Your Excellency, right? Worthy past state deputies, immediate past state deputies, Steve, sales managers, brothers all. It's great to be in California. As many times as my wife and I have been in California, we've never been to Sacramento. So this is our very first time in Sacramento. So it's great to be here. You know, I want to first recognize a couple of people before I get into my remarks this morning. You know, you are blessed as a one-year state, right? Where every state deputy serves a one-year term. What does that mean? That means you have a lot of them, right? As opposed to the two-year states where I came from, Georgia, most of the states are two-year terms. And what that means is with a lot more people, you got a lot more expertise. And there's a lot of them here today. So I'd like you all, brothers, believe me, the state deputy's job is not easy. There's a lot going on. They're busy all the time. They put a lot of heart and effort into what they do, and they support each other. And it's a family affair, as you could tell last night, right, by the cultural event and the lovely daughters of Noel and what they did. But I'd like you all, brothers and ladies, to just join me in a round of applause for the past state deputies. So I'd ask to stand up, all of you that are here. You brothers have helped make California great and lead this great state. And the other person I'd like to recognize, because you only do one-year terms, right? This is his last convention as state deputy. And we know it hasn't been an easy last couple of years. It hasn't been an easy couple of years for all of you Grand Knights, all of you district deputies, your chapter presidents and everything. It's been quite challenging. But you've persevered and you've worked through it and you've led your areas with dignity and with motivation and with inspiration. And there's no better example of that than your current state deputy. With only a little more than a month to go, he's accomplished a lot in California. And I consider him a friend. He's always positive. He's always got a smile on his face. And he's always got a can-do attitude. And like I've always said about Patrick Kelly, who I've worked for 3.5 years, 8:45 meeting every morning. I don't miss those meetings, by the way, anymore. Until he became Supreme Knight March of a year ago. He's the right guy at the right time to lead the Knights of Columbus. And I would offer the same to your state deputy. Brother Noel is the right guy at the right time to lead the state of California. So I'd like you all to stand up and join me in a round of applause for what he's done in his leadership this year. I think you all know, being one of the biggest states in the order, how important California is to the growth of the order, brothers. And, you know, California and Texas are our two biggest states. And, you know, we talk at Supreme a lot about, you know, as goes California and Texas, so goes the order. Because you guys can recruit in 1 month what many jurisdictions can recruit in a whole year. So just know that. A little bit of background on me. I don't know how many know me pretty well. A lot of you probably see me on the screen on webinars. Now you can put a live face to a name. But I've been up at Supreme for 4.5 years now. I'm the past state deputy of Georgia, 2015 to 2017. My good friend Sonny here was my classmate of that class. And it's been great. And we also now have Tom McCaffrey, a California boy in our home office. Who was your Knight of the Year when Romeo was state deputy. So he's part of our fraternal team. So again, you know, I believe that our job at Supreme is really to help you be successful. That's what it's all about. You know, like you said, all politics is local. All the good works of the Knights of Columbus is local. And it's where you are, and it's what you do. And knowing how challenging these last couple of years have been, and they certainly have been, brothers, I want to thank each and every one of you, chapter presidents, district deputies, grand knights, all of you at the council level that have led your brothers for what you've done and how you've risen to the occasion this past year. So we salute you for all of that. Round of applause for all of you. Despite the challenges we face, brothers, we did accomplish a lot this year, and we've got a lot more to accomplish. You heard the Supreme Knight talk about some of the significant top-level accomplishments of the order. But let me just cite a few. You know, from a membership standpoint, which is what I head up for the order, you know, it's been a pretty good year overall. Our U.S. membership is up about 15% over a year ago. Canada is closing the gap. Canada's been particularly hard hit by COVID. They've been down over 20% all year, mainly driven by Ontario and Quebec, which have really struggled. They're our two biggest provinces in Canada. But they've closed the gap, and they're getting better every month. The order is up about 5.5% for the year. So those are, you know, what our numbers look like through the middle of May. You know, a couple of things, too, that I'd like to call out. Let me talk first about California, because a lot of you have accomplished a lot this past year in a lot of challenging circumstances. Looking at charitable hours and charitable dollars, California Knights contributed almost $6 million and 1.5 million hours to support charitable programs this past year. In the ultrasound initiative, you heard the Supreme Knight talk about our 1,500th ultrasound that was placed. Well, brothers, you ought to feel really good because California has placed 135 ultrasound machines to date, and you are #1 in the order in ultrasound. In our Coats for Kids program, you put coats on the backs of over 4,500 children in need. Your council's raised over $37,000 in disaster relief program assistance. Special Olympics, another key program of the order. California Knights donated 423 hours and $5,000 in support of Special Olympics. You've also stepped up to support our seminarians through our RSVP program, supporting 276 seminarians with over $160,000 in support. You are number 4 in the order of 76 jurisdictions in supporting seminarians. I applaud you for that. And in our Food for Families initiative, California councils have raised $121,770 this past year in support of Food for Families. So brothers, you guys have stepped up in a very, very big way. And the Supreme Council thanks you for all of your efforts. Let me talk a little bit from a macro level about, what the order's accomplished this year in a couple of key program areas. In terms of ultrasound, you heard the Supreme Knight talk about our 1,500th ultrasound. That number is higher since he even recorded that video a few weeks ago. That was a council in New Jersey where that was placed. Our Coats for Kids program, we distributed 130,000 coats this past year. In our disaster relief program effort, 7 jurisdictions supported $267,000 of disaster relief funds. And many jurisdictions continue to get behind, as you have in California, Chris Lewis's wonderful wheelchair program in helping people receive the gift of mobility that is so critically important. I ask you to join me in thanking Chris for his leadership of this program and making the gift of mobility possible. Special Olympics has been another big program in California. You guys have done a wonderful job there, and the order continues to raise money and set new levels in supporting the Special Olympics. In terms of charitable dollars and hours for the order, I gave you California's numbers. The order has raised $185 million in charitable support this past year and 76 million hours, setting a new record. You heard the Supreme Knight talk a few minutes ago about one of our most recent major initiatives, which is Ukrainian program relief support. He mentioned $11 million in the video. That number is now over $15 million that we have raised to date in support of Ukrainian relief efforts. And when you think about our Knights in Poland, brothers and ladies, and the Ukraine, we've got literally 9,000 men, about 7,000 in Poland, about 1,800 brothers in the Ukraine. And they have been doing yeoman's work in staffing these mercy huts, providing food, relief, materials, water, shelter for women and babies and young children coming over across the border from Ukraine to Poland. Our Polish Knights have stepped up in such a huge way to really support Ukrainian relief efforts. The Supreme Knight, after the board meeting about a month ago, went over to the Ukraine and to Poland to be there with mercy huts. He also met with the Holy Father in Rome, and the Holy Father blessed the Easter baskets that were stocked with food, Easter eggs, Easter bunnies for the kids in the Ukraine. And the Holy Father blessed these. And those were distributed at Easter time to families and the children in need in the Ukraine. It's a humanitarian effort, like Patrick said, much like what the Knights did back in the war days, where we had the war huts that were available. Everybody welcome, everything free. That's what these mercy huts have been doing on the Ukrainian border. And I can tell you, Father John Kalish, who succeeded Father John Grace as the head of our chaplain program at Supreme, was over in the Ukraine. It was over in Poland. He was working these mercy huts. And he said it was one of the most meaningful experiences he's ever had as a Catholic priest. And Father Kalish is not given hyperbole that often. So he recorded several videos of the work that we're doing over there, the masses that are being held in the mercy huts, and the support that we're giving overall to the Ukrainian families in need. Keep them in your prayers, brothers, because, you know, what's going on is a humanitarian need that they've got. And we just all need to keep praying for the end of the war. Let me briefly talk about a couple of key initiatives that we've got going at Supreme. There are 5 of them that I wanted to make you aware of very briefly. Y'all are aware of the affiliate member program that started last fall. It's been going very well. The response has been very good. And our hope is that it will be a boost and morale booster to recruiting. Because we're now taking off of your council books all of those men that have been either absent, invisible, and not paying dues. And we're working that list. So hopefully, that'll be a big boost for all of you and a motivator to help recruit at a higher level. You heard Patrick Kelly ask all of you to recruit 2 more guys before the Supreme Convention. Can you do that? Yeah. All right. We still got the free membership offer online. Don't forget that. McGivney 2020. We're also addressing a need in the field that we've got to be a lot more digital. As you probably know, the Knights of Columbus over the years, we're really good at paper. We're really good at paper. We've got more darn forms than you could ever count. But, you know, we're in a digital age, brothers. You know that, right? So we've got to get more digital. So we've really embarked on an initiative we call One Member, which is really what I'm calling the digitization of the home office. It's going to allow all of you, once we're up and running with that, to have transparent access to the reports, to the information that you're looking to get on all of the members that you need. And at all levels. Because now, as you well know, we've had restricted access to reports through member management that everybody will have access to that's a leader once this is up and running. We know it's a big need. We've made it a key priority. The Supreme Knight has literally said, make this your #1 priority and make time for it. So all of us as department heads within the order have been behind this. We've got a CRM system called Microsoft Dynamics that is coming on board. We've hired them. We've got a consultant that we're working with on all this. This should be up and running probably, hopefully, in the next several months. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. We've also tried to be more efficient in communication with our state deputy reports that we've got going on a weekly basis, with our FLAs, Fraternal Leader Advisories, where we're trying to not bombard you with 1 million emails, but to package them in a very concise package that you get on a weekly basis. And so all the information is there. We're also starting a new phase of our marketing initiative. You're going to be seeing a Young Fathers campaign that is going out there right now on social media that'll talk about young fathers and why it's important for them to join the Knights of Columbus. There will be other subject topics that will be part of this marketing campaign, inclusive of charity, insurance, and all the other key reasons that we offer men the opportunity to join the Knights. And the 5th program that we've got is brand new, that we just launched, which is a mentoring program for incoming state deputies. So Brother Renee will benefit from this program. We've got past state deputies that we've asked to be a part of this program. They are going to be mentors. We're doing coaching, and we're going to unveil this program at the state deputy meeting coming up in a few weeks in June in New Haven. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. And that wasn't something we decided. That's something that past state deputies have said to us, boy, it'd be great if I had a mentor that I could talk to, that can answer questions, you know, independent of our guys in the field, our regional growth directors, territorial growth directors, and associate regional growth and training directors. So, and again, we're dealing with those mentors now. We've been having meetings with them this week. So, Renee, you'll be hearing from them soon. So, and you'll certainly be diving into the deep end when you come to New Haven soon. You know, while we accomplished a lot this year, and we still have a month and a half to go, brothers, there's still a lot more that we need to focus on. Let me talk about a few things that are important going forward. Number one is coming out of COVID stronger. Believe me, I know what all of you have had to deal with. I know how hard it's been to deal with a lot of your councils and get men engaged again. You know, get men back together again. Get men coming to meetings again. Getting involved in programs and encouraging the heart. That's tough. We got to keep doing that, because without the involvement of our men at the local meetings, involved in our charitable work, we don't accomplish the good things that we do. We got to continue to invite men to join. And we've got to continue, as the Supreme Knight has said, to evangelize. Because if we don't evangelize, brothers, at the district level, at the chapter level, at the council level, we're no better than a men's club, right? I mean, it's the ability to evangelize that makes us the Knights of Columbus and gives us the unique position that we've got. We also, as Patrick Kelly said in his last comment, we need to make membership recruitment and growing the order a top priority. Let me throw out some numbers. We lose about 180 men a day in the order. 180 men a day. About 140 of those are deaths. We lose about 2 a day per jurisdiction to deaths of our 76 jurisdictions in the order. So what does that mean? That means we've got to recruit at least 180 men a day just to break even, right? So that's really important to grow the order. You know, our average age with our online membership has come down to the low 40s. The average age in the order now is in the about 58. But we need to keep getting younger, and that's really, really important. You know, as you heard the Supreme Knight say in his video, one of the key things that we offer men is we get the man right. Because if the man's right, the family's right. And we're called to do that as men. You know, how many in here would say that being a Knight of Columbus has not made you a better man, a better Catholic, a better father, a better husband, even though your wife might take exception to that at times. But in all seriousness, right, it has. I know it's done that for me. My wife's testimony to that, right? And I'm sure all of your wives are as well. So we've really got to recruit. And we got to tell our personal story when we recruit, that's really important. And one other thing about recruiting that I'd like to mention. Recruiting is just not the responsibility at the council level of the Grand Knight or the membership director, or at the state, of the state membership director, or of Noel. It's a responsibility of all of us. We are all called to be recruiters. All of us surely know men that are not knights, that we see and talk to on a regular basis. And all of you know the reason. In fact, there are 2 reasons that men don't join the order, right? One of them, you could probably chant, nobody ever asked me. And number 2 is I'm too busy. I would say number 3, a close third might be, I really don't know what the Knights of Columbus are all about. But you got to ask people, brothers. That's really key. So I invite all of you, you know, to make the ask. Think about brothers that are not Knights of Columbus that you can ask to join our brotherhood. And make recruiting a team effort at the council level. We also have to get younger. We know that. Because if we're not getting younger, we run the risk of being irrelevant going forward. And one of the things that we need to really do as part of getting younger is appealing to young men with the things that we offer. Let me share with you something that occurred last week. I was up in Canada last week doing listening sessions. 2 nights in Toronto, 2 nights in Montreal, before I flew back to Georgia to attend the Georgia State Convention last weekend. We listened to a lot of brothers that were younger knights and, you know, knights of all ages, and we wanted to find out what some of the challenges were, what they feel we need to do a better job of in order to be relevant to them. And Arthur Peters, who's on the board of directors for the Knights of Columbus, he's a past state deputy of Ontario, asked if I would talk to one individual that couldn't make the meeting. And this individual, I talked to him in a hotel room for about an hour on Teams. He was 35 years old, a 5-year member of the Knights, and he joined for fraternity and faith formation. He told me that he went to his first meeting, and he was 20 years younger than the next youngest guy in the council. It was about a 150-person council. He said the council was full of cliques of men that are older members. He said, I was never made to feel welcome, and there was no talk of spirituality at all. He said, I thought maybe it was my first meeting. So I gave the council another chance, and I went back to 2 more meetings, and I had the same experience. So I decided that I was going to stop going to meetings, and I was going to form my own spiritual group outside of the Knights of Columbus. So on a monthly basis, I've got together 10 to 12 men, and it keeps growing, and we do virtual and in-person spiritual meetings. And I said to him, if the Knights offered that, would you welcome that? And he said, absolutely. But the challenge is to get my council to do that. I posed the same question, brothers, to the young men that we met in the listening sessions that were able to attend. And their response was similar. One of the things that we've got to do, and it's a real priority for the order, is to build spirituality into the council structure. Talk about our faith in action programs. Promote them, because that's what younger men are looking for. Yes, they're still looking to get involved in our charitable programs, but they want spirituality. They want spiritual programs. And we've got to, particularly, you lead your district deputies out there, your chapter presidents, Grand Knights. You know, I urge you to really look at what you talk about at your council meetings and try to make spirituality an important part of a council session. You know, one thing my council in Georgia started to do was to do an Into the Breach video before meetings. And the council's about 170 guys, and 50 guys are showing up at 20 after 6 to watch a 10-minute video and do a half-an-hour discussion before the business meeting, all about spirituality. Whether you build it into the meeting or a separate meeting, it's really important. And we're looking now at Supreme about how we can structure that overall and promote that to all of you going forward. Through Damien O'Connor, who's the head of our faith formation and evangelization team. I shared with him what I shared with you just now. So that's a big priority going forward. But I just asked you, oh, thank you. We need that. More applause, right? We are men of faith, and we have to evangelize, and that's what young guys are looking for. A couple of other comments. And, you know, a lot of people don't know the full extent of who we are and what we do. So I would urge all of you to make it a priority to promote what your council is doing locally, in your current area. You know, have a Knights column in the bulletin. Talk to Father about that. Be visible in the parish, because that's really important. We are men who put faith into action. And promoting what we do locally is really, really important. So anyway, brothers, all in all, in the last couple of years, which have been very, very challenging, we have accomplished a lot. And we have a lot more to do. I want to reiterate my thank you on behalf of the Supreme Knight, on behalf of the Supreme officers, and on behalf of me personally for all you've done in California this past year to encourage the heart of men, to rise above the excuses, right? You know, excuses are like noses. Everybody's got them, right? My dad told me that when I was young, so I try to never offer excuses. But again, we know that it's been challenging, and I want to thank you for what you've done in leading your areas. Keep up the good work, brothers, and make it a priority in the upcoming year to really step up your efforts to make the next fraternal year the best that it can be in your chapters, in your districts, and in your councils. And as you go back and get involved with your councils and recruit new members, I ask you to remember the why. You know, why do we do what we do? Why do you do what you do? How can we help the church and help each other be better? To be the best version of ourselves that we could be. When approaching prospective members and trying to get them to be members of the Knights of Columbus, I encourage all of you to tell your personal story. Every personal story is different. Why did you become a knight? How has it helped you? What's it meant for your family? And what could it mean for the people that you talk to and invite to join the order? There's no more powerful story, brothers, than your own personal story. Keep up the good work. Keep doing the good work that Blessed McGivney started this order to do back in 1882. Be the best versions of yourselves that you can be going forward. Keep inspiring the heart. That's what leaders do. Keep motivating. Keep going the extra mile. Know how important California is and always will be to the growth of the Order of the Knights of Columbus. I thank you, brothers, for all you do every day to keep the vision of Father McGivney alive in the great state of California. Vivat Jesu.
The next order of business is the reports of the state officers. For that purpose, I turn the key over to our State Secretary, Dave Trevino.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy. It's a privilege for me to present for the purpose of making his annual report to the delegates of this convention. Please welcome our worthy State Deputy of California, Dr. Noel Emilio.
My brothers and sisters in Christ, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, that's good. On behalf of the California State officers, we are thrilled to welcome all of you to the 120th California State Annual Meeting. Believe it or not, time passed by so quickly. Oftentimes, I stop for a second to listen to my internal clock inside of me. Say, tick tap, tick tap, tick tap. Second, minutes, hours, days have passed. It feels like being trapped inside a time machine while looking back into the past. Recalling the moment I was elected as a state deputy during the 119th State Annual Meeting with myself, with all humility and honor, I felt privileged to serve you in our order. My wife, lovely Lady Fanny, my two daughters, Stephanie and Diane, including myself. We were so blessed, felt so blessed, to work with dedicated, determined, and passionate group of individuals such as yourselves. We all envision that service is always within us, knowing we are doing immeasurable deeds for our communities, our parishes, our churches, and our order. I am exhilarated and proud of each and every one of you, for you made a difference these past months, despite of the many challenges along the way. Our experiences were beyond expectations. We all agree that hard work and dedication are the bedrock of our every great accomplishments and success. It is like the eagle, which dares to soar and aim high. It takes a real courage within us to embrace the possibilities of our potentials and passion. At the beginning of this Colombian year, we were very fortunate that we started to open up. We were able to witness, participate, and experience chapter installations, testimonials, bishop vocations and clergy nights, council anniversaries, and special event dinners. It was during these times that personally I had a chance to meet and get acquainted with each and individual members of our state family, our state council. Despite of the roadblocks that hit us due to the different variants of COVID-19, wherein churches had to be strict and stringent to protect their own parishioners, I am so delighted and proud of the dedication and commitment to our councils, districts, chapters, and assemblies. Your leadership is transforming our future with creativity and vision that leaves a legacy of nothing but success. My sincerest and heartfelt gratitude goes to our state officers, our state chaplain, Reverend Father Anthony Vasapli, State Secretary Rene Gervino, State Treasurer Greg Marat, State Advocate James Larson, State Warden Ken Rose, and our immediate past State Deputy Stephen Bolton. I thank you from my heart for your endless guidance, continued support, and helping hand. I am honored to have worked side by side with you. I am also graced with selfless people, full of compassion and enthusiasm, of our State Membership Director Michael Rolt, State Programs Director James Hart, State Operations Director Gene Hayes, and the Fraternal Benefits Promotion Chairman, our General Sales Manager, Carlos Gutierrez, Stephen Owens, Pablo Contreras, and Brown Sandoval. My special appreciations to our Supreme Representatives, our Supreme Director Antonio Pasqua, Supreme Territorial Road Director of the West Brother Keys, Bob Keys, Associate Regional Growth and Training Director in Western Territory, Kenneth White, our Supreme Hispanic Coordinator, Jose Bona Magana, and most of all, our Supreme Representative today, our Senior Vice President, Mark McMullen. I will be remiss if I will not be able to acknowledge my trusted advisors for Columbian year 2021-2022, of which I am very thankful for their guidance that they have extended to me. Past State Deputy Ed Hustis, Past State Deputy Dave Abbott, Past State Deputy Sonny Santa Ines, Past State Deputy Romy Comedo, and Past State Deputy Joseph Solais. I am so grateful to everyone for the efforts and hard work. We have all faced the summit of our fears and believe nothing is impossible. Despite of the many adversities, uncertainties, and problems such as the pandemic, the wildfires, we accomplished great things within our councils and communities. Your hard work, dedication, and commitment is commendable, and I am ever so proud that we all make a difference. I understand we have more work to do, goals to reach, and plans to achieve. Let us not continue giving our very best for the good of our order. We all know we had a great start, so let us finish strong. Let us keep the highest momentum and get ready to pass on to the baton to the next Columbian year. Our journey for Columbian year 2021-2022 began as I was elected to humbly serve you as your state deputy on May 21st. Recalling that time period, several awards were presented to different councils. Back then, I wish how blessed is our order for having so much committed members. I was overwhelmed with confidence and excitement to step on a higher threshold, knowing we will work together as a team and face whatever mishaps waiting for us for the Columbian year. I know then that I, my family, are not alone. There are so many activities and events that have occurred during this Columbian year that we do not have time to mention in this event. In the proverbial sermon by Saint Anthony of Padua in the 1200s, he said, "Action speaks louder than words. Let us not let your words teach and your actions speak." And so many words that I could not speak, but wanted to show you are captured actions for better than words. Handful, and it's beyond our grasp. For membership, service program, operations, there are chapter installations, council installations, testimonial, membership and recruitment drives, ceremonies of charity, unity, and fraternity, fourth degree exemplification, faith in action activities such as holy hours, novena for life, walk for life, ultrasound initiatives, and many, many more. They are all captured in a time capsule. Please join me then in watching the time capsule that has been developed by a worthy meeting technology committee man for the North, Brother Jess Gonzalez Gomez. stronger, even more authentic. We are God's chosen soldiers, strong and bold. Mary, your mother, we shall dearly hold. Humble youth, Mary's high, Mary's banner. Pray the rosary in the best manner. We are called to be champions for devotion. By examples, we shall lead its promotion. Let us be no labor behind and be. With commitment, the hungry we shall feed. Wherever we go, let us be all heaven and show the people the way to heaven. We shall keep our homes holy and sacred. With God, our families are protected. Rosary, we will make a powerful weapon. We shall love Mary with a filial passion. Wherever we are, let us be all heaven and show the people the way to heaven. To heaven, we shall rise again, rise from this planet. Our dawn is stronger, even more authentic. We are God's chosen soldiers, strong and cold. Mary, your mother, we shall dearly hold. Mary, your mother, we shall dearly hold.
Wow. Time capsule. All in access. We all know that our order cannot and does not exist without our members. We know we worked so hard these past months despite of effects of COVID-19 and its variances. We saw how most of our parishioners are attending virtual masses and how we were limiting the number of people inside our churches. This alone limits our capacity to grow, but yet we never stopped fighting. In fact, we met more than 70% of our goal to grow. Currently, we have 2,715 members and still growing. The Supreme setup gave us high expectations, and today we have a goal of 3,827. It is not yet done. We always can do. We always can do. We are can-do councils, assemblies, and chapters. You heard our Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly. Let us recruit 2 members before the end of Columbian year. Let us recruit 2 members before the end of Columbian year. Can we do that? Let us do it, right? We can? Yes, yes. And anyway, as of today, we are more than 100 councils in California that have already met their membership requirement. And in fact, we have a chance, a total of new members in the state of California by 2041. By June 30th, we need to recruit 1,000 members more to qualify for the Honors Awards. However, we did lose 216 members as a result of death toll, relocation due to higher standard of living, and the COVID-19 restrictions. That gives us a net increase of 1,825. Increasing the number of councils is one of the biggest accomplishments of our membership growth. So far today, even before the start of the Mass, we have 10 new councils developed in the state of California. During Mass, we receive a text message, an email message, that we have our 11th new council developed just this morning. Thank you. Our goal is for new councils, and we continue to rise in numbers of councils and members. Thank you all for all that you have worked so hard. Lovely Lady Fanny and myself, my daughters, are so grateful to all of you. We know that we cannot repay you for all of this, but truly it is Him above that knows you did this for our churches, our families, our communities, our councils, our districts, our assemblies, our chapters, and the order, but most of all, for His great glory. And truly, it is through the intercession of Mother Mary, our Mother Perpetual Help, who is the mother of all families, Maria, Mater Dei Familias, Saint Joseph, our patron saint, and Father of all, who is the Father of all families, and our founder, Blessed Michael Magdini, we will continue to rise again and become rejuvenated, reinvigorated, and revitalized Knights of Columbus, which is our theme for this year's annual meeting. My brothers and sisters, God is good. Would you agree with me? God is good? Dios de bueno. Thank you. Salamat po. Gracias. And viva Jesus.
Thank you, worthy State Deputy. It is a privilege for me to present for the purpose of making his annual report. Sorry. Thank you, worthy State Deputy. The chair now recognizes for the purpose of making a motion accepting the State Deputy's report, the District Deputy and Delegate from Council 8627. Please state your name and your council.
Worthy State Deputy. My name, Emmanuel Bernal, Delegate of St. Anne Council, number 8627, Union City, California, District Deputy number 45, Oakland Diocese Chapter, move that the State Deputy's report be approved as read.
Thank you. Is there a second?
For the State Deputy, for the State Officers, for the past State Deputies, for the dignitaries, brothers, worthy brothers, ladies, my name is Belimon or Politamana, current Grand Knight of Council 16687 of St. Jane Francis de Chantal of North Hollywood. I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. So moved. Thank you, worthy State Deputy. I return the gavel to you.
Thank you, worthy State Secretary. And now it is a true honor to introduce our Brother Christopher Lewis, President of the American Wheelchair Mission. Brother Lewis.
Reverend Father, brothers, lovely ladies, good morning. Good morning. It's always such a pleasure to be here with you in the great state of California. Our American Wheelchair Mission delivers free wheelchairs to people who need them but cannot afford them. A wheelchair allows children to go to school, adults to go to work and take care of their families, allows the elderly to get out of the bed they might have been in for 5, 10, or 15 years. But a wheelchair doesn't just change one life. It changes an average of 10 lives for every wheelchair we deliver. I'm very proud to stand here and tell you that since 2003, Knights of Columbus and Catholic parishioners across the United States have now sponsored more than 100,000 brand new wheelchairs into the lives of people without mobility. So do the math. If it changes 10 lives, that's 1 million people's lives that have been greatly improved by the gift of mobility. And it all started here in the state of California. So I'm very proud to say that California started it all, has been one of the leaders in everything we do for many years, and now the pandemic is over, we want to kick it in the butt and get it going again. But I'd like to start by showing you a video that is narrated by the man I call our traveling chaplain, Father John Nieneman. Over the last 10 years has been with us to Vietnam, the Philippines, the Holy Land. show you that short video. If you would, Dave, please.
Gospel of Matthew reminds us, in the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Certainly we give glory to our Father. In the name of Jesus Christ, we are able to give a gift of love that is so practical in this world, and quite frankly, is so perhaps misunderstood, because when you come to places like Mexico, when you go to the Philippines, Vietnam, and wherever it is that we travel with these wheelchairs, that gift is still needed and cherished all the more, because we are teaching others through our faith, and that wheelchair is a profound symbol to those who see it in countries very different from ours. That this life sitting in that chair is a valued life. This person is a child of God, and this person has been given that gift, just like we have, to have life and live it to its fullest. Wheelchairs are life-giving. To see lives transformed in so many ways, not only from the individual who receives the chair, but also the whole family and the community that gets involved and celebrates the life of the person who has this beautiful gift of mobility. When we arrive in these communities, whether it's in Mexico or in Asia, we, quite frankly, aren't quite sure what to expect. But as we get to know the people and we're invited into their homes, we see life lived, but through a different context. Through the context of having material possessions and wealth, or perhaps the context of having nothing, and hence the gift of a wheelchair is so valuable, priceless to those who are in need. The Knights of Columbus strive to be the backbone of so many operations in our parish, and this year the thought was to come to the Holy Land and share this beautiful gift of mobility with so many that inspire us, that give us this gift of our faith and keep the faith alive. And so we want to return that gift, and we want to return that generosity, not only in prayer, but in an item that's very tangible, that stays long after we pilgrims have gone home. And that's what our faith does. It stays with us wherever we are, and it goes with us wherever we go, just like the wheelchairs. As we encounter the families and the individuals who receive the wheelchairs from the Knights of Columbus and the American Wheelchair Mission, we Knights come back banded together, having gone through this transformative experience of bonding through charity and being the person of Christ and helping those who are in need. And we take that story with us back to our councils, back to those that we encounter in our daily lives, and we can't help but have this experience written on our hearts for years to come, to tell stories of sharing in faith and the values that we cherish as Catholics in our world. We are here in Guadalajara, Mexico, and the need is the same everywhere we are in the world. We encounter people who are in need of mobility, and the wheelchairs are such a beautiful gift of helping these families, whether they are near or far to us, in living the gospel message of reaching out to widows, reaching out to orphans, reaching out to those who are in genuine need. I'd like to take this time to address the jurisdictions who have not yet participated in an American Wheelchair Mission campaign. Not only are we Knights of Charity, Knights of Unity, Knights of Fraternity, we come together as a group of men and women being the arms and legs, the people of Christ, reaching out to the same people that Christ himself would reach out to, one by one, individual by individual, wheelchair by wheelchair. Christ chose us to be his tools, reaching out to those who are in need of a gift of mobility, through this gift of life, through this gift of a wheelchair from the American Wheelchair Mission. Gospel of Matthew reminds us, in the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see.
Hi, Mike. Okay. All right. So those were the faces of people that we have been able to touch. In the 22 years that I have been delivering wheelchairs around the world, I've been involved in the delivery of about 800,000 wheelchairs to 150 countries. And the most common thing that people tell us when we deliver a wheelchair is we have just answered their prayers. We are answering prayers through you. God is working through us. We are pushing the gospel forward, and that's why we should be so proud that we're Knights of Columbus. We're doing that every day. And the Wheelchair Sunday parish drives that we do to raise money for the wheelchairs is one of the best recruiting tools you'll ever see in your life, because we're putting a face on the Knights for younger members and people who want to get involved. We take people on these trips. Anybody's welcome to go on a distribution trip. We've got probably 5 more to Mexico this year. And so we like to get that ball rolling. Anybody that's interested in coming on a trip with us, anybody who would like to get involved with a Wheelchair Sunday, please come see us at the table afterwards. It's so easy to do. Or go on our website, amwheelchair.org. There are hundreds of videos that show you lives being transformed because of what started right here in California. So, Noel, I'd like to say thank you again for allowing us to be here. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being the ones who allow us to be tools in God's hands. God bless you.
Thank you very much, my brother Chris. It is a privilege for me to present, for the purpose of making his annual report to the delegates of this convention, the California State Chaplain, Reverend Father Anthony Westhapley.
A young woman sat just in front of the altar as the priest was passionately talking about conversion. And as he talked, he noticed this woman was weeping. She had her handkerchief in her hands and wiping the tears. And the pastor was so delighted to see at least one person being transformed, being converted. He was so proud. At the end of his talk, he went over to that woman and said, I must thank her. And said, ma'am, I am so grateful to you. I saw you literally weeping, crying. And I know my words really touched your heart. And that's what made you cry. The woman looked a little blank, not understanding what the pastor was talking about. Said, excuse me, sir, I don't get you. What are you talking about? So he said, weren't you crying when I was talking? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, I was crying. But for a different reason. 2 weeks ago, I buried my pet, a goat. I loved it. I had it with me for more than 10 years. That was my life. With a heavy heart, I had to bury my pet goat. When I saw your beard, I was reminded of mine. My dear friends, I have no pretension. I don't want to convert you, transform you. I want to just share a few reflections with all the intention of doing what we can do together to make this organization, this beautiful organization, even better. I was very impressed with the very powerful Easter message of Patrick Kelly. he said, Nisocormus never will sit silently in the face of evil. And then he praised the commendable works done in Ukraine and all over the world. He had a very personal audience with the Holy Father, and the Holy Father told practically, go on, go on, go on. He said it 3 times. And to which practically resoundingly responded by saying, we will go on. And then comes his best message to me. The message was this: evil has its hour. Evil has its hour. But God will have his day. And I want all my nights to belong to that day. God will have his day. And I want all my nights to belong to that day. My brothers and sisters, I have thought over it, sort of meditated over it, and I said, this is a powerful, a clarion call or supreme night, inviting all the nights to belong to that day of the Lord. And I tell you, we can. If we work together, we come together, we will succeed, and we will belong to that day. But before we belong to that day, I want to share with you a few of my own reflections. Number 1, we are not a social organizations. We are not social workers. We are actually evangelizers. And we must get that message very strong and personal. We are not social workers. We will do social works, but we are evangelizers. And if we are evangelizers, we need to be really men and women of God. Men and women of prayer. I talked to you at the end of the Mass, there are 2 pillars of our sanctity, of our holiness: devotion to the Holy Eucharist, devotion to the Rosary. These should be 2 weapons in our hands, and the parishioners where you come from, your own parishioners, should see that in you. That's why we need to lead by example. We have to walk the talk. That's the number 1 thought that I want to leave with you. Second thing, Father, hopefully soon, saint, Father Michael McGivney. He was a genius, an amazing man of God. He founded this beautiful organization and placed it in the hands of the laymen, and he said they need to be inspired, they need to be guided, and therefore he said every council should have a priest as their spiritual chaplain. Look at the genius of this man. Because you need a priest to guide and to help. And therefore, my dear brother and sister, we have been discussing a lot about how to get more and more priests involved. And let me tell you this, priests are busy people, and you know that more and more parishes are getting less and less priests, right? Now, please do not invite the priest to the Nisocormus meeting. You know why? Let me tell you quite clearly. Our meetings are boring. And therefore, please be smart. I would like you to invite your parish priest, or any priest for that matter, invite him and say, Father, would you please come and say few words, say 5 minutes to 10 minutes, on any topic of your choice. And I tell you, I promise you, no priest will say, oh no, I can't do that. If you call the priest for attending meeting, they will say, I'm busy. Sometimes they're lying, sorry. But if you say, if you tell them to come and say, as a spiritual director, to give some insights, some little message, I think our priests will do, and that's how we are going to start from this year, in the future, we will get more and more priests involved. And remember, my dear knights, they are not just a requirement. I'm sorry, many councils, I heard somebody telling, Father, if you're free, please come. Not at all. Priests will never be free. It is, priests are integral part of the council, man. Not when you're free. Father, please means a lot, right? So as I said, not for the whole meeting, but just for a few minutes. And for that, you need to plan your meetings for the whole year. Get even priests from outside. Make it a spiritual experience every time you meet in your council. That's my second point. Third point is a very, very important, at the same time very delicate. Let me classify the Knights of Columbus into three groups. The first group, a small group of men, they will make things happen in the council, in the parish. And that's what you are. A small group of people in every council, they will make things happen. They will put their heart and soul in what they're doing. They will be doing. They will make every possible sacrifice. The first group. The second group, they watch what is happening. So you have in a council, some people are watching. They will be criticizing, they'll be watching. And third group, they have no idea what is happening. So in every council I see this, first group they make things happen, second group they watch things happen, and third group they have no idea to what is happening. So having said that, my dear friends, I wonder, this is my humble invitation to the entire organization. I think it's time for us to go deeper into our hearts in our life and examine our life and see where we are going. What is our direction? If you look at your councils, look at the percentage of attendance of your councils. It's always very little. Maybe 5, maximum 20%. That's very big, right? And also, you also hear a lot of people saying, many knights are not anymore paying their dues. Okay. So I pick up these two things, and I have a few questions to ask to all of us, good people like you. I want all of us to ask question: why? Are they discouraged? Are they disillusioned? Are they upset? Are they angry? What is going on? What is going on? And I would like to invite all of us, please do not abandon them. They are very important men, and their families are very important. We need to care for them. So I am recommending this. We need to re-evangelize them. Meaning, we must do everything possible to get them back. How we are going to do, you need to discuss that. But Jesus has given us the best methodology. If you want to talk to a brother, what did he say? First, you go and talk to your brother. One-to-one. You explain to him, ask him, what is going on? What's going on? And if he listens to you, congratulations, good job. If he doesn't listen to you, take 1 or 2 with you, brother nice. Go and meet brother, the family if possible. Talk to. And so you make them feel that they're important. See, my dear brothers and sisters, Knights of Columbus is a corps within a corps. We are not first a knight, right? We are not Knights of Columbus, remember, we are not knights in the first place. We are Catholics in the first place. So it is a corps within a corps, so we can't afford to lose sight of these, our brothers. And therefore, I will strongly recommend, and I suppose it will be the organizational level, we must do something about them. And if we are trying everything humanly possible to get them and bring them back, and they still resist our invitation, then I think, this is my personal opinion, and I say with a lot of love in my heart, then I must say they do not belong to our organization. Because if I can be a member of this organization, a beautiful organization, without having any responsibility, without paying my dues, I think I would prefer to be one of such brothers, right? So these brothers, as far as I see them, they are demotivating me. They are morally, they are not encouraging me. They don't inspire me. And I think they are a dead weight. We are really being affected by that. And my prayer is that we understand that. We understand that. Because I have heard many brothers saying, some of them, we are members. And I am 100% for the membership. I once made a big proclamation in my church. I said, I want every man of my parish to be a member of Nicer Purpose. You know why? Because I have seen that. Because by virtue of your being a knight, your families are better. Few years ago, some of the women sitting here will remember this. I asked this question to the ladies' luncheon. Asked this question. Are your families better because your husbands are Nicer Purpose? There was a unanimous yes. I was afraid the ceiling would come down. I mean, just make you understand, my brothers and sisters. We can lose sight of our goal. Our families. We talk about a domestic family. Here is the best example. Every nice family should be a domestic church. And every family is a domestic church, we are examples. That's why I said, I want every man of my parish to be a knight. And I can tell you, I can probably say, I have very strong counsel. And I see more and more men are wanting to join. And I tell you, my counsel is a young counsel. You know, very young counsel. So we need to focus on young people, invite them, and make them Nicer Purpose. I composed a poem, and I will share that with you. I think this is in your packet. The title, you know, I write poetries. It's God's gift to me, you know. I can just write a poem like this. This is the 20, I don't know how many lines. I have a dream for the night. That's my title. I like to share this with you. I have a dream for the night, that he will be a man of strong and personal prayers, and will daily grow in his faith without fears. Jesus will be his only reason to be a member, and not for the name or medals. He should remember that he will have a faith-filled Catholic family, where God is at the center, whom they follow gladly. No one is too busy to ignore or to neglect. Family is God's best gift. He will never forget. That a nice family should be a domestic church. Sunday Mass, he will attend together in his church. Let him lead by examples, not by empty word. His life should be the gospel people around him may read. That a knight should be a Catholic gentleman of great character, who serves the church through his council, assembly, or chapter. He should have a sense of belonging and a great pride. That his is a special call to serve the church, Christ's bride. That no one becomes a knight without responsibility. He should know his rights and duties to the community. One who does not pay his dues can never be a faithful knight. Devoid of loyalty and commitment, he is a dead weight. That those who pay no dues are like cancerous cells in a body. These dead cells can only kill the good spirit in everybody. Be on your guard. They will dampen the joy in every night. For quality, not quantity, every night should fight. From top to bottom, every night should seek spiritual wealth and keep the money at your service and never make it knight's strength. A knight by call is not expected to be a social worker. Doing God's works, he is called to be an evangelizer. Before I conclude my brothers and sisters, we shall rise again, right? We shall rise again. And we all want to rise again, but we should rise again better. We should rise again coming closer to God. And we should rise again by embracing everyone and make our organization, Nicer Columbus, a best thing that the world has ever experienced, that the church has gifted to all of us. Thank you and God bless.
And now, it is a great privilege and honor to introduce Melissa Lindros, Executive Director of the Corona Life Services, regarding the pro-life vision. Let's give her a hand.
today. My heart is deeply moved by the words that I have just heard from Father and from my esteemed brothers in Christ. I wanted to express my deep appreciation to Dr. Noel Panlimio and your family for your gracious invitation to address you today, this honorable gathering of the California Knights of Columbus. Thank you, Dr. Panlimio, for your fearless leadership and your service to Christ, and to every beloved knight in this room. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your faithful service and to the myriad of ways that you show the face of Christ and the mercy and the love of God to a broken and hurting world. I thank you on behalf of the PRC movement. Thank you so much. I truly believe that what Father just spoke of is the solution for our society right now. The family and the healthy family is the foundation of a just and moral society. And the Knights of Columbus have been standing up and building healthy family based on the Word of God for decades. And I salute you. Services, we are here, my team, if you could stand up, Jordan, future CEO. The next gen, always invest in the next generation. Find a mentee and invest in the younger generation, right? Always. Amen. So I'm from an area that's the fifth largest growing area in the state. And so I'm going to share over the next couple minutes a few stories from the field and to give you an update on what we are facing. Obviously some very happy things we can share, and also some challenges. And then I'm going to end with a call to action from my heart and on behalf of the pregnancy centers in California to you. So this moment of May 20th that we are standing here, we're sitting in this room, is a threshold. And depending on the position of our hearts and the actions that follow, the lives of millions of people hang in the balance. Not only that, it's not an understatement to say that the health of the family and our communities and the health of our state hangs in the balance. The question is, are we willing to continue to share God's truths in love? And are we willing to act in accordance with God's plans, not ours, even at great personal cost? Let us take a moment in silence to reflect and attune our hearts to the voice of the Holy Spirit and to discern what he may be saying today through this speech and through this day. Into the unseen places, let us attune our hearts to the cries of unborn children, of women, children, and families all over our nation who are lost, in our state and our own community. Let us attune our hearts to the voice of love. The divine purpose of human life is to love. God commands us to love with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul. This is the purpose of life. As Dr. Noel Panlimio has said, the closer that we draw, the more dedication for our lives to the Eucharist and to Christ, the more powerful is our unity that we show in a diverse and a divisive world. You are my heroes. You are the ones that are fighting for the battle of life every day, and I thank you. I was called into this ministry 3 years ago after 25 years in international humanitarian service. I served 13 years in the former Soviet Union, and I helped through my former organization, the United Nations, to rebuild a war-torn country called Tajikistan. Nothing could have prepared me for the war that I was about to enter when I entered the pro-life ministry. My father ensured that I would have the best education possible, even spending 2 years at the Catholic Institute in France. Great privilege. I studied theology. Later in life, I went to the former Soviet Union and I learned about socialism and its effect on human beings, and I, as I said, fought to save lives and rebuild the country. I'm here because I want every girl and every child that God knits together in the womb of women to enjoy the life that God gives them. And I want every parent to have the opportunity to hear the gospel message, to be empowered through the parenting classes, such as our Pregnancy Center movement, carries on every day for family life education. It is in protecting the lives of unborn children and teaching children about God's truth and establishing healthy families that we ensure the life of future generations. Pregnancy centers across our country have served since 1960, providing crucial protection to unborn children, services to women facing unplanned pregnancies. We serve over 2.5 million people every year as a movement. I think that's worth applauding. In our state, the first pregnancy center opened in 1968. Many services, as you know, are offered, including medical, education, family support, and advocacy, being a witness in the community. The Pregnancy Center movement is a safe haven for women and children across our country and indeed across our state. Approximately half of all pregnancy centers utilize ultrasound services, and I want to salute my friend David Portens, if you would not mind standing, David, briefly. If you do not know David, he is a force of nature, and I just try to hang on to his coattails, really. 78% of women who see their child on the ultrasound machine and hear the heartbeat, the powerful heartbeat, choose life. And that's why David and his team have equipped with over $1 million of ultrasound pregnancy centers across our state. So this is truly an accomplishment of the Knights of Columbus, and I salute you for that. In my own organization, Corona Life Services, just as many pregnancy centers across our nation, we have saved the lives of 2,000 babies from abortion since our founding in 1998. We have taught also 1,200 youth abstinence, even in our public schools, and how to have healthy relationships. It's not easy these days to bring abstinence in our public schools, but by the grace of God, we have been successful and we have overcome. Because youth really want to know how to live in healthy relationships, particularly after coming out of COVID and being isolated, not knowing how to interact with one another, not knowing their own value, their own dignity and worth. So we're very proud of that accomplishments. And all of these things that we do are offered without charge to our clients. A lot of outreach is going, a lot of outreach is happening. You'll hear more from our sister, Kathleen Domingo. Thank you so much for your fearless service. And so these are areas that we are wanting to expand because, as you may have noticed, with the recent Supreme Court leak of the Roe versus Wade decision, what this means for California is that things will become and have become more challenging. So within this landscape, I just want to turn the corner just a bit and tell you a little bit from the ground on what's happening. So outside of the door, there's a large blue poster. On the poster and underneath your seat is actually a copy of the poster. Jordan and I put those under your seat yesterday, also our annual report and our latest updates. So on the poster are at least 15 laws that are pro-abortion laws in our state that I'm going to ask in a moment to pray over and also to be aware of, familiarize yourself with, talk to your neighbors, your family about what's happening in our state and really take a stand against it because it is not in line with biblical teaching on the sanctity of life or on family life education. As you may know, across our country, 63 million people have been lost since Roe versus Wade was introduced in 1973. In my own county alone, in Riverside County, this year, for our own estimate, we estimate 17,000 people, these are children, will be murdered through abortion. So this is a cause to mourn, and it is a cause to take a strong stance. My own friends from Live Action were at the Supreme Court last week. 3 people against 100 pro-abortion activists were attacked. They had to have the intervention of the police on the Supreme Court steps because they were standing up for life. They weren't doing anything illegal. They were just taking a stand for life. So these are the realities that we face. The pregnancy centers Sometimes we feel a bit like David and Goliath. We know that God is on our side, but I must tell you, even though we are doing great work, we're often disparate, we're under-resourced, and we need your power. We need your invigoration. As we just heard, we need to be invigorated with your love for life. So there is a movement that has swept across our land, which proclaims my body, my choice since 1973. And what we are seeing is that the individuals that are becoming victimized to this rhetoric that causes a woman to choose between her own child and her success. We need to pray for these women. We need to love the women, and we need to educate on the truth that a woman does not have to choose between her child and her future, that a woman is given a gift of life, and a family is given a gift of life. And so it is our job to protect those lives and to speak against that. So we have the capacity to create a legacy of life in our society by moving hearts, by taking actions, the actions of a few good men, of many good parishes and churches, and of hearts that are moved by the ultimate goal of life, which is to love. So I'm now going to turn to 5 key actions that I would implore and encourage you to take after we speak, and then I will actually turn over. We will see the voice of our clients on the video. But what are we to do in the face of great evil? We face great evil with great love. We continue to share God's truth, but we must act even when it requires great sacrifice. So the first of the actions, as you have already been doing, I'm calling you to a higher level of action. Support your local pregnancy center. Volunteer, give, attend your banquets, find a pregnancy center that you can support if you're not already on the board of directors, as many of you are. If you don't have one near you, David and I can help you, and we can connect you with the local pregnancy center that you can give to. The second thing, please, as you I'm sure are already doing, teach your children and grandchildren and family members that life is a gift from God. Share the gospel, tell them stories from the Bible about how they can change history by taking a stand for what is right, and prepare them to do that. Number 3, take a strong public stand against the pro-abortion legislation, especially against the abortion sanctuary state that is now in the California legislature, and all of the email addresses are included in each of the legislation pieces that are underneath your chairs. Publish this stance and don't give 1 inch of room. The Knights of Columbus will not compromise on the sanctity of life. Consider creating a special advisory committee, the Sanctity of Life Committee, in 2022. And let this be a line in the sand where we can look back in 1 year, in 2 years, and see the progress that we have made in specific subregions in our state on the sanctity of life. Finally, pray like you've never prayed before. Recall in the great book of Acts when the Holy Spirit descended upon a group of people who then were filled with hearts of love and overturned the society that was the birth of Christianity. This is the power of love that we need to overcome great evil. And pray, Father, forgive me for allowing this evil in my land, in my community, and Father, help them. Father, help us to be people of love in the face of great evil. Thank you so much for, again, the privilege of being here today, and I turn it back to Dr. Noel.
Just before we recess, the final speaker that we have for this morning, it is really my great honor and privilege to introduce Kathleen Domingo, who is our Executive Director of the California Catholic Conference regarding also pro-life initiatives. Kathleen?
Well, it's always good to know you're the speaker standing between the participants and lunch. So I'll keep this as short as I can. morning because I couldn't have a better introduction to what I'm going to ask of you. I realize from Patrick Kelly to all of the speakers previously, everyone has been asking things of you this morning. So let me give you a little information and then a couple things that we can do together. I am the Executive Director of the California Catholic Conference. That means I lobby on behalf of all of the bishops of California, so your bishop, in front of the California legislature. I do that day in and day out. This year, as you know, because you've been watching TV and reading the papers, we have a year like none other in our country, but also in our state. Right now, we're facing 21 bills seeking to expand abortion access in California. One just died in committee yesterday. We had 22 yesterday. We have 21 today. We have another bill that we've been watching that was very, very important. You may have heard it called the Infanticide Bill. Yesterday, it just got amended in such a way that we are going to remove our opposition. We don't believe that it has anything to do with infanticide anymore. It's not a great bill, but one we don't have to oppose. So we're making some progress. We've been working very closely with that bill's author on a day-to-day basis. And we are making some progress. Now, will we make progress on all of the bills in California? No, of course not, right? We know that Governor Newsom and our legislative leadership has pledged to make California an abortion sanctuary. In addition to these 21 bills now, or I should just say 20, he has also added $125 million of direct abortion funding, taxpayer dollars, to the budget this year. And he has pledged to bring forward a constitutional amendment that will enshrine abortion in California. We haven't seen the language of that yet, but we know that it's coming. So, what are we to do? You will be happy to know that all 12 of the ordinaries in California came together on January 22nd and issued a statement. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to do so. It is lovely. And together they essentially said, we pledge to walk with women and children and families in California. We will not stand idly by and see our state turned into an abortion sanctuary. You should be very proud of your bishops for doing this. And they made 5 promises. Those 5 promises are, we will walk with women and children and families. We will oppose legislation that expands abortion access and support legislation that expands the social safety net for people in need in our communities. We will mobilize and unite Catholics together to be resourced so that they can be effective supporters of women and children and families in need in our state and know how to access those resources. We will unite all of the pro-life resources in California so that women and children and families can find them. Part of the budget includes $1 million to create a website in California. I don't know why you need $1 million for a website, but it's going to be really good. For women to find abortion services in California, right? Now, we don't need $1 million. I'll take it, but we don't need $1 million for a website. But we need to unite our services as well so that people can find them. You heard about the ultrasound program. You heard about all these great services, and you know that you have been fundraising over all the years to support all of the wonderful work of our pregnancy resource centers and clinics and maternity homes throughout California. So many are underutilized, and also so many people don't even know they exist or know how to find them. So our goal, actually the goal of the bishops, is to make that happen, to do a big PR campaign to make that happen. And our final goal is just to make sure that on an ongoing basis, the Catholic community is here to provide those services on an ongoing basis, not just this year when it's kind of top of mind. So to that end, you should have all just received this flyer, and I want to call to your mind 2 things. The first is the bishops asked me to figure out how we're going to put these 5 promises into action. And I turned to my good friend Thomas Redkins, who's in the back corner of the room, a fellow knight from the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. His organization, Options United, is a really strategic and powerful tool that we have in California. He and I have been working together for about 10 years, and he's got a call center of highly trained and just wonderful bilingual women who answer calls every day from women in California and actually throughout the country who are looking for abortion or looking for some options for pregnancy. So Options United works with all 170 pro-life pregnancy centers and clinics up and down the state. So rather than trying to find phone numbers or web addresses for over all these different locations that we have, there's one phone number and one solution for women who are in need in California. And the bishops have asked me to share with you all about this program today. And so that's what this flyer will do. If you click on the QR code, it'll take you to a page on the California Catholic website that we created just for you that gives you the opportunity to learn more about this program. We have links to all of our action alerts for the legislation. So you heard Melissa talk about the legislation that's active in California. You can go to the website right there, and you can click on all of the action alerts, and it populates a message for you. You just put in your name and your address and send it, and we hope that you'll continue to do that. So, what we really are looking for are people in parishes, all of you and other members of your councils, to help us with this project. We want to promote the One Number One Solution program throughout California. The bishops have made a pledge to purchasing billboards, bus bench ads, any kind of advertisement that we can, radio ads, anything. Some of you may have access to some of those things, or you might know people in your councils or in your parishes who would have access to low-cost or no-cost resources that we can create, that we can share. We have created assets that can be used by any diocese in the country, and already some dioceses are putting these into place. Posters in the backs of parishes, cards that can be passed out, resources that can be on hand anytime there are people in need. So that's the first request I have of you, is to click on this QR code, find out what's available, and to please take some ownership of this project and recognize that this is what the bishops have asked us to do. Support this project financially, but then also through the networks that you already have, see if there are ways that you can help us to promote these resources that you all have been working so hard for the past 50 years, right? It's just the same resources that you guys have already been doing. How do we get women to them? That's what this project is. The second one is a big ask. I mentioned that Governor Newsom and legislative leaders have promised a constitutional amendment enshrining abortion in the California Constitution. So right now, abortion is found in the California Constitution under the right to privacy. Governor Newsom says that's not far enough. He wants to change the Constitution and to find a right to abortion in that Constitution. We anticipate the Dobbs decision will come out, actually it could come out as soon as Monday, although we anticipate it'll be later in June. What the Dobbs decision, thanks to the leak, tells us we will probably get, now it could change, but what we'll probably see is that the court will tell us that Roe v. Wade, they're overturning Roe v. Wade, and the decision on abortion goes absolutely back to the states, which means that here in California, our governor and our legislative leaders can do just about anything they want for abortion. And they have determined that they would like to have a constitutional amendment. We haven't seen the language for that yet, but we anticipate it will be very aggressive. And by aggressive, I mean language that would enshrine abortion in the state, probably, again, we don't know for sure, but probably with no limits and the opportunity to never put limits on abortion in California. And they'll probably put some nice big fences around that language to make sure that in the future, even if we do have a sea change in California and different leadership, it will be incredibly difficult to ever change that constitutional amendment or put any limits on the abortion in California. Okay, this is very serious, and it's something that we don't want to lose. Do we have a chance of winning? A slim chance, yes. It's going to be an incredible lift. So the bishops have asked me to come here today to talk to you about this, to let you know this is coming. So many of you, especially these familiar faces all over the Diaz here and in the pews, we worked together on these kinds of things in the past, haven't we? We worked together on assisted suicide campaigns. Some of you worked with me on the confession bill a couple of years ago. Yes, you might remember some of those things. We know how to do this. And in fact, I was on the phone yesterday with 3 members of the folks at Supreme in New Haven and then also in DC, and I told them, your guys here in California know how to do this. We're not strangers, unfortunately, to have these campaigns, and we have been incredibly successful together, and I'm so grateful for all the work that I've experienced with you in the past. So I'm calling upon you again this year to ask you, please keep in mind this is coming. We will be working with a PR firm in California, and we'll have strategy. As soon as we see the language, we'll develop a strategy, we'll develop an entire program. But it will be so important to have you all on the ground in the parishes leading a lot of this effort to get people educated, to evangelize, right? What we mean by caring for all life, why this is so important. And then, of course, getting people to the ballots in November. This will be on the ballot in November. And helping them to understand why we need to oppose this measure. If we can say that we can get everybody who attends church on most Sundays in California to oppose this measure at the ballot in November, I think we have a fighting chance, right? It's an uphill battle, and then we have to pull off some of those moderates in California too. It's an uphill battle, but I'm really asking for your help to be prepared for that. So we will definitely be in touch. I will probably see a lot of you in the future months as I plan to travel around the state and give more information as the campaign rolls out. But in the meantime, I would just like to alert you that this is coming and ask you to kind of keep some time maybe in your schedule as you plan your calendar year, that we will be doing a lot of work toward the end of summer and definitely into fall, and especially as we get close to that election date in November. So thank you all. I haven't kept you from your lunch too long, but I just so appreciate your work. And on behalf of all of the bishops of California, they asked me to really thank you today for your amazing work and your amazing support, and just know that they are with you in prayer, and they look forward to being with you, especially this year as we fight this legislation in California. So thank you.
With that in mind, we are always in support with our bishops and our clergy. Now, I will adjourn this meeting until 1:30 p.m. and at this time, we will go later on in the closed session. I ask of you all to be in place early so we could come promptly at 1:30 p.m. This meeting stands recessed until 1:30 p.m.